is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Wisconsin.
Sunday afternoon baseball, the series finale between the Brewers and the Cardinals coming up. The series is even. The Brewers are looking to head into the All-Star break with a win, and it's Bob Uecker Alarm Clock Giveaway Day. Certainly one of the most anticipated giveaways of the season. A big crowd expected here at Miller Park this afternoon. Let's recap the series for you. It all started Friday night, very dramatic. The Brewers get their first walk-off win of the season thanks to Jonathan Villar, the RBI single in the ninth to score Kirk Neuenhuis. Chris Carter came up big as well with a pair of home runs. Jonathan Lucroy needed a review, but the Brewers got it. It held up, celebrated, took game one. Yesterday afternoon, it was a tough day at the ballpark here for the Brewers. It was an 8-1 loss. The St. Louis Cardinals had the big bats going, 3 home runs as they won this one 8-1 to even the series. Sunday afternoon from Miller Park, I'm Sophia Minert, and as we're closing up this first half of the season for the Brewers, certainly one of the biggest surprises and success stories for the crew has been Junior Guerra, the 31-year-old rookie journeyman who has pitched all over the country, all over the world, made his way here to Milwaukee as the first claim off waivers by general manager David Stearns. He has led the Brewers with a 6-1 record and an earned run average under 3. So our own Bill Schroeder had a chance to catch up with Craig Counsell on what has gone so well for the Brewers here in the first half and how he assesses his team's play here in the first half of the season.
You look at things that have went right and things that have went wrong, and I think we've had some good surprises, for sure. I think the disappointments really have largely lied in some of our starting pitching, which has given us some trouble, especially the first month of the season. And then but it does feel like we've been close enough on a lot of stuff that a couple breaks could lead us to right around 500 and being right in it.
Well, the Brewers are looking to get over the hump and get a series win against their division rival, the Cardinals. They're sending their best pitcher, Junior Guerra, to the mound here in the series finale. When we come back, Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder will take a look at Guerra's success if he can keep his scoreless inning streak of 15 1/3 innings going here today at Miller Park.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Oh, a little tiki hut out there at Miller Park. Tailgating is great. Pitchers today, Mike Leake for the St. Louis Cardinals. Junior Guerra, the 31-year-old rookie, gets the ball for Milwaukee. And hi, everybody. We welcome you inside the booth here at Miller Park. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. And, of course, Junior Guerra continues to be the story. I don't think it's too much of an overstatement to call him the ace right now because he's pitching like an ace for Milwaukee here recently.
Yeah, his last 3 starts have been terrific, including his last time out against the Washington Nationals. In Washington, 8 shutout innings and a Brewers 1-0 victory, but commanding just about everything right now. Even the curveball starting to come around for him. The split change has been a good pitch, and really all developed because of the fastball command. Guerra getting more and more confident every time out. You can see his numbers, 15 1/3 scoreless innings. But today here against the St. Louis Cardinals, facing the team, he suffered his only loss of the year against the Cardinals.
Well, it's going to be a first half to remember for Junior Guerra. The Brewers trying to go out in style before the All-Star break. It's the Brewers and the Cardinals. Game 3 today. The Brewers going for a series win. And we are just about ready to go here at Miller Park today. Game 3 of this series on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Clouds up above. Beautiful day for baseball. 77 degrees. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Sophia Menard is our reporter. Brent Reeland is our producer today. And today's game being directed by Mark Vittorio. Great to have you all with us this afternoon. It's the final game before the All-Star break. And the Brewers coming in with a record of 38-48. And they're going to give the ball to a guy who has been an impressive story for Milwaukee, Junior Guerra. The Brewers are 10-2 when Guerra starts. And Guerra, a waiver claim last year, comes into this outing with a lot of confidence and a first half to remember. Mike Matheny and the Redbirds, they are 3 games over 500. They start play today 7 back of the Chicago Cubs. Cardinals are 3rd in the National League Central right now, right behind the Pirates. And the Cubs are in a free fall right now, so that is tightened up in the NL Central. Potawatomi batting order for St. Louis. Tommy Pham will lead off. He gets the start in left for Matt Holliday. Aledmys Diaz, an all-star, the 25-year-old rookie, will bat second. Then Stephen Piscotty hits third. In the middle, Matheny's got Johnny Peralta, Matt Adams, and Randall Grichuk. Colton Wong, Alberto Rosario, his first major league start today. And Mike Leake is on the mound for the Cardinals. And we got a bird delay. We had a bee delay yesterday, and the bird is not real interested in leaving the premises right now. They bottled him up. He's good. He'll be released to the wild, wherever pigeons like to hang out. He'll be hanging out there shortly. Usually
right on my car normally.
On the windshield, right? All right, Rock. Junior Guerra, you talked about him in the open, but what a season it has been for him. Question is, can he keep this thing going?
Yeah, no reason why, as long as he's able to keep that good command. He's got 15 1/3 scoreless innings going. His only loss came at the hands of these St. Louis Cardinals. That happened back on May 30th. And Junior has won his last 3, and in those 3 starts, he's allowed only 2 earned runs.
Guerra gets a call against the Cardinals on the final game of this first half. Tommy Pham will lead off. Hit a home run here yesterday. Matt Holliday still unable to go with the ankle injury. Rolled it in the opener on Friday. And the first pitch of the ball game is in there for a strike, and away we go. Cardinals are all sorts of banged up right now. They've got a lot of injuries to deal with. No Yadier Molina in the lineup. His is just a maintenance day off after he caught the first 2 games. But Holliday's out. Matt Carpenter's on the disabled list. Brandon Moss on the DL.
Yeah, no Yadier Molina in the starting lineup here today. But, you know, the backup players, the bench players for the Cardinals have made a big impact already in this series. And some good players that Mike Matheny has to choose from on his bench.
Guys like Pham and Greg Garcia. There's a swing and a miss, and Guerra starts it with a bang today. A strikeout of Tommy Pham. And let's check the Brewers defensively, courtesy of Menards.
Yeah, Craig Counsell's been very pleased with the defense so far in the first half. It's been a big improvement from last year. Braun, Neuenhuis, and Flores in the outfield. Hernan Perez gets another start at third base. It was Middlebrooks yesterday. VR Jeanette up the middle. Chris Carter at first, and the all-star for the Brewers, Jonathan Lucroy, behind home plate.
Aledmys Diaz drilled by the first offering from Guerra with a fastball. So the Cardinals shortstop will reach. A strikeout and a hit batter to start Guerra's day. Junior Guerra, a waiver claim by the Brewers. He was with the White Sox last year, had 3 appearances in the bullpen with Chicago. Nothing special either. I mean, he didn't get much of a chance in the big leagues. He has only thrived since he entered into the starting rotation down in AAA. And he pitched well enough in AAA. The overall numbers don't jump off the page, but he had a couple of starts down there that opened some eyes enough to give him the first chance in the rotation in the major leagues when there was a spot available. And he has taken that chance and run with it.
Yeah, we had Craig Counsell on the pregame show today, and he said Junior Guerra obviously has been the best starter for the Brewers here in the first half of the season. No surprise there with his numbers.
Stephen Piscotty at the plate for St. Louis. Becomes the big bat in this Cardinal lineup with no Carpenter and no Matt Holliday. Triple, a double, has 3 hits in the series. Cardinals a chance to get within 6 of the Cubs today. There's a liner to center, but right at Neuenhuis. And 2 gone in the inning for Junior Guerra. Guerra finds himself among rookie leaders in a number of categories, especially ERA. Most importantly, ERA. He and Zach Davies are both in the top 5. Only Michael Fulmer of the Tigers with a lower earned run average. This is across all of Major League Baseball. There are 4 National Leaguers in that mix. It's so interesting to talk about Guerra as a starter because most organizations that he's been with, most people who know him, don't know him as a starter until this season rocked. 15 minor league starts was all he had coming up once he converted from behind the plate to the mound with the Braves, the Mets, and the White Sox.
And it certainly has proven to be a good decision. I mean, especially when you consider he's been able to work on a lot of things in between starts. You don't have that luxury in the bullpen, working out of the pen. Started that down in the minor leagues this year and has continued the progress. And it's interesting when you watch, the split change of Junior Guerra. It seems like his last 2 or 3 starts, he's thrown it harder from time to time. He's dropped it in for a called strike a little bit slower. So he's evolving that pitch as his season has gone on.
He's got a great streak going right now. He is over 15 innings without an earned run scoring. No balls, 2 strikes to Johnny Peralta. A little half swing roller foul. 1-2, or check it, 0-2 on Peralta. Peralta just getting back in the mix with St. Louis after a thumb injury, had him down the first 2 months. Homered yesterday, hit a 2nd inning home run off Chase Anderson. Cardinals won the game yesterday 8-1. Brewers won the opener 4-3 on Friday in walk-off style. Didn't miss by much. 1-2 the count.
Had the plate maybe a little bit too low. That's a pretty good eye by Johnny Peralta. Could have been called a strike.
It's been the beauty of Guerra. You see all those pitches around the strike zone, and yet he's ahead in the count. And that's kind of been the symbol of his season. He's working the edges, not leaving the ball in the middle of the plate, and he's got that terrific split change going that's separated him from the pack. Hard to believe the 2 best pitchers the Brewers have, the 2 best starters, weren't even in the rotation when the season began. Lucroy blocks it, but Diaz is on the run, and he'll end up at second base on a wild pitch.
Yeah, tried to throw that one a little bit too hard and spiked it way in front of home plate. That's the one we're talking about, that splitter. It's more like a split fingered fastball as opposed to the split change. He will throw that with 2 strikes and spikes it. Yeah, Lucroy, not much you can do about that.
Two-two to Peralta. 2 outs in the first. We're just underway from Miller Park. And a little pop-up foul territory. That's going to end up on the dugout. Oh my goodness. Hope he's all right. What a catch. Man down. Here he comes. Yeah. Well done, sir. Well done.
That was sweet. Nice play. Check this out.
Oh, laying out, giving up his body.
Yeah.
Mark Atanasio sitting right next to him. You got to appreciate the effort right there. Just plowing over his kids to make that play.
That's going to be, that's not going to feel good in the morning.
Oh, man. 2-2 the count. And a swing and a miss. He struck him out to end the inning. Guerra off to a good start. Fan laying out. Cardinals failed to score in the first, stranding a runner at second base. And here we go to the bottom of the first inning. The Brewers coming to bat against right-hander Mike Leake. Jonathan Villar will lead off once again. What a great half he has put together. Potawatomi batting order: Villar, Jeanette, and Braun. You got Lucroy, Carter, and Nieuwenhuis in the middle. Craig Counsell has Perez, Flores, and Guerra rounding out the starting 9. Mike Leake on the mound for St. Louis, the former Cincinnati Red. Traded to the Giants last year and signed a free agent deal with the Cardinals. He has lost his last 3 games, Rock, and he is not pitching all that well during that stretch either, with 11 runs in 16+ innings.
Yeah, last win coming against the Pirates back on June 12th. The one thing that you have to do against Leake is be aggressive early in the count. He's not going to walk you.
Jonathan Villar with a base hit. That's going to split the gap and go to the fence. And Villar racing around second. He'll stop there with a double. Man, this guy plays the game with a flair and enthusiasm that you love. He's Carlos Gomez 2.0.
Yeah, much more compact swing than Carlos. There's that 2-seam fastball and a 2-0 count. And Villar going right with it. Good start for the crew. Yeah, he was thinking about third, but thought better of it. Nope, just stay right there.
It's funny.
I think he's going to do well by these 4 days off coming up.
Yeah,
he needs it. Doesn't show it like he needs it, but he could use it.
Yeah, maybe the mental break more than the physical break too. He's at second. Leadoff double. Here's Scooter Gennett now. On the ground to the right side. Brewers execute. Get the runner to third. Well done, Scooter. And the first out for Mike Leake.
Well, the Menards defense for St. Louis. It has been a troubling season defensively for the Cardinals, but you know, it's a team that's still in contention. Pham, Grichuk, and Piscotty in the outfield. No Matt Holliday. You got Peralta, Diaz, Colton Wong, Matt Adams, and you got Rosario behind home plate. Alberto Rosario, no Yadier Molina behind home plate.
Early action for the Brewers. Runner at third with 1 out as Molina watches today. Infield is in for Mike Matheny. That gives you the respect level he has for Junior Guerra. As Ryan Braun steps up, takes strike 1.
There's the number 3 hitter and 4 hitter coming up. I mentioned that Leake is a control pitcher. He doesn't walk too many, only about 1.5 walks per 9 innings. You know, one of the best ratios in the big leagues. So you better be ready to swing the bat when he's out there.
Leake, one of those rare players that came straight from college to the major leagues with Cincinnati. First round draft pick by the Reds. He did make a brief stop in the Arizona Fall League, but he was in the big leagues the year after he played for Pat Murphy, the Brewers bench coach at Arizona State. Murphy calls him one of the great college pitchers of all time, one of his favorites. And you look at his college career at Arizona State, it is an eye-opener. He did some amazing things there.
He's a pretty good athlete too. He'll swing the bat for you. He feels his position very well, and you know, he will bust it down that first baseline on a ground ball. He just doesn't take it for granted. Not a jogger down the line. You got to make a good play to get him out.
Braun trying to deliver a run here in the first. He's been good in spots like this. Braun .364 batting average with runners in scoring position. Those are the numbers for Braun. He's hit a couple of home runs. He has 13 for the year. He's driven in 44. OPS just slipped under 900 on this homestand. It's at 893. He's had a great half. Can't play, you know, 5-6 days in a row very often. You got to get him a day off every now and then with the back and the thumb, but he's on a pretty good maintenance plan, he says, and he knows when it's time to take a day off, and he's usually come back very strong after those days off.
Speaking of a guy that could use 4 days.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Infield is in. Brewers threatening early today. And Braun lays off, full count. Braun was an all-star last year, and he's maintained the all-star caliber numbers. He did not make the all-star team this year. He was on the final 5. Suppose he still could be named to the all-star team if there was a roster decision today, maybe an injury. There's a called strike 3. Braun is rung up. You rarely see that. Runner at third, 1 out. That's usually RBI time for Braun, but down he goes.
Yeah, curveball and a 3-2 pitch, completely full in Braun. You see that ball right on the inside corner. Brawny figuring he might be getting a fastball. There you see it. There's a spin. Not much of a break. Kind of backed up on him and caught the inside corner.
So 2 men are out. That'll relax the Cardinal infield back to their normal depth. And here's Lucroy now. 2 outs, runner at third. There's that same breaking ball in there for a strike. Lucroy will head to his second All-Star game Tuesday in San Diego. And before the game today, manager Craig Counsell, David Stearns, the general manager, presenting Lucroy with his All-Star game jersey. I like the All-Star jerseys this year.
The old Padre jersey.
Yeah, the old look. I like that.
Games in San Diego. Makes sense.
Terry Collins, the NL manager, selected Lucroy to the All-Star team, so a manager's pick. He is the second catcher in Brewers franchise history to be named to 2 All-Star teams. Ted Simmons is the other, 1981, 1983. Lucroy's All-Star years 2014 and this season. Matter of fact, he was the starter in 2014 after Molina was injured.
Got to be gratifying for Lucroy, especially this year after the season he had a year ago, all the injuries and disappointing offensive season.
2-2 the count. VR over at third base, and Lucroy back up the middle. It's a base hit. In to score VR, and Jonathan Lucroy delivers in the first. A 2-out, 2-strike RBI single. It's 1-0 Brew Crew.
That little wrinkle on it, maybe a cut fastball, and Lucroy able to just get it out of the reach of Colton Wong out there at second base. Yep, it's the cutter. It stays down the middle of the plate, and Lucroy able to hit it hard off the glove of Wong and into center field, so the Brewers take an early lead. That's why he's an all-star. Hits like that.
Well, those 2-out RBI hits, those are a gut punch to the opposition, especially when they come with 2 strikes. So VR has the lead double. He scores, and now Chris Carter, a wave and a miss. Be a successful first half for Carter as well. He'll look back and as he hits the All-Star break, proud of what he's accomplished and hoping for a strong finish. He's got a chance to hit 35, maybe 40 home runs this year if he keeps on this pace. He's got 22 for the season. Hit 2 of those here on Friday night against St. Louis. Lucroy at first, no balls, 2 strikes on Carter, and a called strike 3. Down he goes. Couple of Ks in the inning, but the Brewers get a lead double by VR. He scores on the Lucroy single, a 2-out RBI single, and the Brewers have a 1-0 lead. Final game before the All-Star break. And today, a Sunday afternoon, Bob Uecker alarm clock day. They are ringing all over the ballpark. Sounds like phones are going off everywhere. We're right on time today. There's one. Did you hear that, Rock?
I did not.
I don't know if I'm imagining them or if I'm just hearing them go off randomly throughout the stadium. Matt Adams just launched one out of here. That is a fair ball home run and a monster home run at that. That snaps an 0 for 27 for Matt Adams at the plate. His 10th home run. And there was no doubt it had the distance. Only question, was it going to be fair or foul? Yikes.
Yeah, that was no cheapie right there. He got full extension, and that's what Matt Adams can provide you. He might be a little bit inconsistent. It was a fastball from Guerra. A 1-0 pitch, and he knocked it way, way out of here down the right field line. 8th home run allowed by Junior.
They don't see many up there, that's for sure. So just like that, the Cardinals tie it up. Their first hit is a homer. Here's Grichuk now. He's out in front. And a fly ball to Flores in right for out number 1. Well, Jonathan Lucroy heading to the All-Star game. For more on that, we check in with Sophia.
That's right. Talking to Lucroy before the game, he said he's certainly excited to be heading to the All-Star game for the second time. Named as a National League reserve by manager Terry Collins, and said he's going with his mom and his dad, his wife Sarah, daughter Elia. And you know, Lucroy's not much for individual recognition and attention, but admitted it's always exciting to be able to participate in the All-Star game and get that kind of acknowledgement from your peers and from the rest of the league. So he was joking. He said, I think nobody will want to talk to me. They'll all be talking to the Cubs, and that's totally fine with me. But certainly a well-deserved honor for Lucroy.
Yeah, I talked to Jonathan Friday, and he was saying to me in the dugout before the game, he said, you know, I'd gladly exchange a couple of All-Star appearances for a World Series appearance. That's the kind of what you're talking about Lucroy. He's not really into the individual honors and recognition. He's more about winning and being a team guy, and I agree with him. I think that's certainly the way he is. He'd rather have a team win and have the personal recognition.
Well, Lucroy will have a lot of Cubs to engage with. There's a swing and a miss. Wong strikes out. Junior Guerra picks up his 3rd K already. 3 of his 5 outs have been via the strikeout. 2 outs in the second.
Yeah, that's the harder split that he's been throwing as of late. I mean, that's the 2-strike split-fingered fastball. That's not a split change right there. That's a traditional splitter, and gets the punch out.
Here's Alberto Rosario. His first start in the big leagues today. After an 11.5-year career in the minor leagues, he finally got a chance with the Cardinals recently, and last night got an at-bat, a pinch hit at-bat, and delivered not just with a base hit, but a base hit and an RBI. Mike Matheny said before the game, he told St. Louis reporters he was so excited that he wasn't sure he was going to be able to make it to first base. He forgot how to run for a moment.
Had his hands up in the air halfway down. I don't blame him. I mean, it's a long road for the kid, and getting an opportunity to start in the major leagues today, only one way that batting average goes from there.
Yeah, he's batting 1,000. He's 1 for 1. 29-year-old rookie. These are 2 guys right now matching up against each other who can appreciate the path to the big leagues, taking nothing for granted. Great symbols of perseverance each. Junior Guerra is 31 years of age, and the 29-year-old Rosario.
Well, whichever way you get an opportunity, whether it's somebody in front of you in the big league level not getting the job done, or some injuries, it's up to the player to be able to compete at that major league level and an opportunity to stay in the big leagues. It's one thing to get there. It's much more difficult to stay for an extended period of time.
3-2 pitch. He is lined to right. That is exactly where his hit came yesterday. And for now, that batting average is going to stay at 1,000. 2-out single to right field for Rosario.
Not that easy. I mean, really, it's not that easy. 2 for 2. 2 line drives to right field. Four-seam fastball, and Rosario, just like he did last night or yesterday, lines one hard into right field. This time the arm stayed down all the way to first.
Cardinal bench is trying to get him into one of their team actions when they get a base hit. Have the little mocking of a grenade, I guess. I'm not sure what it means, but to no avail. They couldn't get him to do it, which you appreciate even more about Rosario. No balls and a strike, and a bouncing ball by Leake. VR across the diamond, and it's just in time. Leake runs well, and VR had just enough on it for the final out of the second inning. Neuenhuis, Perez, Flores coming up. We're all tied at 1 after the Matt Adams home run. Giveaway today, the Euchre alarm clock. After many months of promotion, it's been a big hit. Our home field advantage is brought to you by Lowe's, and Kirk Neuenhuis is in that spotlight today because his home field advantage is significant. He's hit .298 at Miller Park, 4 of his 5 home runs coming here. Neuenhuis had an RBI yesterday, had a 2-out RBI base hit. The lone run for Milwaukee, and he scored the winning run in the walk-off on Friday night.
At home.
That was at home.
Yeah.
Right back up the middle. It's gloved out there by Diaz. The throw to first in time. Man, what a play that was. They had a shift on for Neuenhuis. And Aledmus Diaz, can't tell you what a difficult throw that is with his momentum going away like that.
Yeah, check it out. I mean, up the middle, going away from first base, and somehow is able to get the jump throw right on the money and get Neuenhuis, who runs pretty well. He's not a base burner, but he's got good speed. But check it out. Look how quickly he gets rid of it, knows exactly where the bag is, and gets him by a full step. Tremendous play.
Impressive young player this guy is. Aledmus Diaz, 25-year-old native of Cuba. And he is an all-star this year. He was a replacement for Matt Carpenter. He's the lone Cardinal that made the all-star team. Once Carpenter went on the disabled list, it was an easy pick for Diaz. Said these first 3 months have been a whirlwind for him, but there are so many great young shortstops, especially in the National League. Perez a swing and a foul. 0-2 the count.
When was the last time only one Cardinal made the All-Star team?
Yeah, been a while. You got to go back. I had that note in St. Louis. Got to dig into my mental Rolodex there, Rock.
That was more of a rhetorical question.
It's been a while, though. It's been, I want to say it's been a decade.
You know, that starting pitching that they rolled out with Wainwright and Carpenter and guys like that, and Yadier Molina making it just about every year.
Yeah, not just making it, but as a starter. He and Pujols for years were a staple on the All-Star team. Seven-time All-Star Yadier Molina.
When do you think on a day off he'd be sitting down, relaxing a little bit? He's up on that step up there with the rest of the guys, and just doesn't know how to relax during the game.
A swing and a miss. Perez strikes out. 2 up, 2 down. That is strikeout number 3 for Leake. 2002 is your answer there, partner.
Yeah, been a while, right?
Matt Morris was the last time Cardinals had just one All-Star.
There's that curveball. Same pitch that got Braun.
Brewers ran into the strikeout bug yesterday. Try to put the ball in play a little bit more today. Getting into some deep counts, no question, but too many strikeouts for the Brewers offense. 15 Ks in yesterday's game. Slow roller to Adams. Leaks over there for him, and that'll be a 1-2-3 inning. All tied at 1. We head to the third at Miller Park on a Sunday afternoon.
Taking in the series finale between the Brewers and the Cardinals. We're even at 1 as we head to the third. We check in our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball. News and notes from around the league. It has been a terrific debut for Josh Bell, outfielder for the Pirates. Last night against the Cubs, his first career home run, a big one, a grand slam in just his second career at bat. The Pirates are now 9-1 over their last 10. And they'll go for the sweep over the Cubs here today. Daniel Murphy just continues to haunt his former team, the Mets. He added to his home run total already this afternoon. He now has 7 home runs, 21 RBIs against his former team, and some National League All-Star updates. Drew Pomerantz, Starling Marte, and Jay Bruce added to the National League roster.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Yeah, how about the Buccos of Pittsburgh? They are surging right now. There's a swing and a miss. Tommy Pham starts this third inning. The Chicago Cubs have lost 5 straight. They've lost 9 of 10. So the Pirates and the Cardinals are able to chip away at this deficit a little bit in the National League Central. Pirates are just down 6.5 to start play today, with a game against Chicago today. And then 7 games back are the Cardinals. See the Brewers at 13.5 back.
We had to figure at one point the Cubs were going to have to cool off just a little bit. Thing was, they had such a big margin, big cushion, that they can withstand a stretch like this and still feel pretty comfortable leading the division.
Cubs and Pirates are underway today. They're in the 4th inning. Cubs lead 5-4. Pirates have John Neese on the mound today. John Lackey pitching for Chicago. 2-2 the count on Pham. Missed inside, ball 3. A lot of day baseball today. Just the one night game. The Giants hosting the Diamondbacks. Baumgartner's on the mound tonight for San Francisco and will not pitch in the All-Star game. There's a shot. Base hit just over the glove of VR. That's going to get into the alley. Pham, who runs well, will end up at second base. That's a leadoff double for Tommy Pham.
Yeah, these backup players for the Cardinals have had a pretty good series. Yeah, Greg Garcia, the infielder, has had a pretty good series with Matt Carpenter out. And look at Tommy Pham with Holiday not playing. Gets on top of a high fastball, rips it into the gap, and Ryan Braun able to get there in time before Pham thinks about a triple.
So a lead runner at second. Cardinals stranded a runner at second in the 1st inning. There's a bunt right back to the mound. Guerra off balance, low throw dug out by Carter. Boy, a heck of a play by Chris Carter. Guerra is very athletic. He was a catcher prior to his pitching days in pro ball, but he got his feet a little awkward that time and almost threw it away.
You know, he thought that Pham was going to go to third base, and he was spinning around to throw to third. Check it out. Pham stops and doesn't really shift his legs and almost threw it away. Good play by Carter. He thought for sure that he was going to make a throw to third, but Carter on an in-between hop able to get the out.
Those are tricky hops, aren't they?
Long hops, short hops, relatively easy for a first baseman. But those in-between jobs, sometimes you got to get lucky.
Piscotty on the first pitch. Nice easy hop for Perez, and he's got him at first, and he holds the runner at second. Piscotty is the Cardinals' best hitter with runners in scoring position, so that's a big out for Guerra. Out number 2.
And they're playing behind the bag, an easy hop, and just to make sure, looks him back quickly. And Junior Guerra on 2 pitches is 1 out away from getting out of this mess. A leadoff double. Pham still standing at second base. You know, back to that Aledmus Diaz bunt. I know he's trying to bunt for a base hit, I'm sure, but I would imagine Mike Matheny, with the lineup the way it is today, would just as soon have him swinging away.
That's a good call. He's a run producer in a lineup that is without most of their run producers. Johnny Peralta with 2 away. Any questions that were out there about his injured thumb? He's been not the same injury that put him on the disabled list for the first couple of months, but it was a different injury to the thumb that had him on the shelf. He didn't go on the DL, but he was not available. Those were all answered yesterday. He launched one out of here, and he looks like he's swinging the bat well right now.
Yeah, 1 for 7 in the series, but that one was a blast.
He's hit the ball hard on a couple of occasions. His swings are full. Doesn't look like he has any hesitation or hitch. Hand injuries, thumb injuries, those can be death on a hitter.
Yeah, wrist.
But Peralta's been able to bounce back. 2-0 is the count to Johnny Peralta. And that misses down and in. 3-0. Yesterday, Peralta off Chase Anderson. He got one he could handle, and he did not miss it. It was long gone out of here. Went to the back of the Brewers bullpen.
And leading off the 2nd inning, giving the Cardinals a 1-0 lead.
It's only his 27th game of the season. Hitting his 4th homer. Way inside, ball 4. So Peralta draws the walk. First walk issued by Guerra, go along with a hit batter. And the Cardinals have him at first and second for Matt Adams. quick trip to the mound for Lucroy. Probably said something like, "You remember that home run Adams hit last time? Don't throw it there anymore.
That 1-0 fastball.
Don't do that." The pitch not to throw here.
And you saw Lucroy setting up on the outside corner, left him middle in, and look where that one ends up.
455 feet. Adams breaking a major slump at the plate. 0 for 27 with that homer. Those are tough to fight your way out of because he's not playing every day, first of all. Yesterday, Matheny used Jed Jerko at first base. When Moss is healthy, he's been playing a lot of first. Adams has kind of been the odd man out, and yet he's hit 10 homers. 35 runs batted in, and you look at his average, Rock, he's hitting 266 now. That's after enduring an 0 for 27 streak at the plate.
Yeah, not terrible numbers by any stretch of the imagination. And in the beginning of the year, he was going so poorly that Matt Holliday was making some starts at first.
2 on, 2 out. Cardinals, Brewers all tied at 1. Cardinals threatening. Adams takes a strike. A 2-0 fastball right down the middle, and Adams watched it go by.
Yeah. Those are the ones that you want to swing at when you're in a slump.
Two. Guerra got him to swing at his pitch that time.
Yep, there's a split change and over the heart of the plate. It got part of the play. That's why you get the swing. If that's inside or outside, you're not going to get a swing like that.
Well, does it go with a fastball or the splitter here? Let's see. 2-2 the count. And he went with a fastball, and Adams able to foul it away.
And that's the thing about Junior you don't realize. He still has a little velocity. I mean, 95 on that last one. Would have thought for sure he'd be given the split right there, but Holliday, or I should say Adams, able to get a piece of it.
Do it again. 2 on with 2 out. The 2-2 pitch pulled foul. Adams broke Junior Guerra's scoreless streak with that home run in the second inning. It reached 16 plus innings. 16 in the third to be exact. A swing and a miss. He got him. Lucroy blocks it and will secure it at first to end the inning. Big strikeout. And a scoreless third inning for Junior Guerra. All tied at 1. Bottom of the third coming. We'll visit with the boss when we Brewers Cardinals final game before the All-Star break. Here we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and we're pleased to be joined now by the owner of the Brewers, Mark Atanasio. He's got his wife Debbie to his right, and great seat, best seat in the house on a beautiful day. And Guerra into left field, and it's a bad route by Tommy Pham. That's going to the wall.
Junior should hold up on second here, we hope. We don't need to pull a hamstring.
Mark Atanasio doing some base coaching. I love it. Guerra will settle for the double. And that's a good way to start it right there.
By the way, look at that swing on the replay. That's a major league swing right there.
We didn't even get a chance to properly introduce you there, Mark. And right away, good analysis by you, partner.
Go ahead, Mark. Break down the swing. Well, he's a former catcher, so he does know how to swing the bat a little bit. But that was a terrible route by Tommy Pham out in left field. And Brewers will take in the leadoff double.
So in position. Good to see you, Mark. Always great to see you here at Miller Park. I know you've been enjoying some of what Wisconsin has to offer, maybe by way of Summerfest last night. And
what a nice weekend here. Summerfest and eating one of the local. Actually, we ate over at the Pfister at the Mason Street Grill. We used to live there before our apartment was finished. And so saw a lot of old friends who are still there.
2 institutions right there. So much fun here to be in Milwaukee. And you've been here for so long. You're certainly a part of the fabric of Wisconsin, but Miller Park's a big part of it, and I know you have an interesting perspective living out in LA half the time, but there is something special about Wisconsin in the summertime when the Brewers are in business too.
Very special. You know, before the game, talking to both Scooter Gennett, actually, I think he's from Florida, in the on-deck circle here. Asked him what he was doing for the break. So I'm staying here. This is my home, which was nice to hear. Actually, he may have added in the summer, but nice to hear. And likewise, Murph, our bench coach, is going to South Bend for a couple of days, but he said he can't wait to get back here because he enjoys being here in the summer. So,
you know, and it is interesting. And when you think about Wisconsin and Major League Baseball here, and I don't know if I've ever asked you this before, but to have a manager in Craig Counsell who's from here is so unusual, and the odds of that happening coming through the Little League systems of Whitefish Bay. As VR drops a bunt down, it's a good one. Nobody at first. Bang, bang, he's safe. VR beats it out. Late covering the bag was Wong. And the Brewers have something cooking here in the 3rd with runners at the corners.
Yeah, when he drops him down like that, when you have a couple of guys moving around, both trying to go after the baseball, and it becomes a footweight race between VR and the second baseman. VR is going to win that race just about every time. That is a beautiful bunt. So VR 2 for 2.
Got a bit of an elbow from Debbie in case I wasn't paying attention to that, which I was.
So the Brewers doing a good job advancing base runners from second to third today. Scooter did it, and now VR trying to advance a base runner, and he ends up with a base hit.
All right, so 1st and 3rd with Gennett coming up. And Mark, just to get back to that thought, but to have a manager in place who's from Wisconsin, let's face it, there aren't many qualified candidates who could manage a Major League Baseball team from Wisconsin. Counsell is certainly one of them, and the best one in your mind. But have you ever stopped down to just think how rare that is and what a special moment it is for him and for you and the organization?
It's interesting you should raise that. When we were bringing him on board, I'd done a little research. I'm probably old on it now, but I think in the history of Major League Baseball, it's only been something like 790 managers. Anyway, it's a much lower number than you would think, and so I don't know who else would qualify as a hometown manager, but just in the history of the game, I think there's probably been very few.
Was Jim Gantner on that list, Mark? Anyway, you have to be.
Were you a teammate of his? I'm trying to remember.
Oh yeah, yep. I was Gumby's teammate, but it has to be gratifying. I mean, watching a lot of these young kids and some of the performances that we've seen, including Junior Guerra. Evaluate for us, in your perspective, the first half of the season.
Well, and it's a good day to do it because I think we have a close to a sellout here. Probably partly weekend series with the Cardinals, partly euchre alarm clock. But partly, too, I think we have an exciting young team. I mean, Junior Guerra, people forget he's a rookie, maybe a 31-year-old rookie, but he's a rookie. Jonathan Villar's been a huge surprise, 31 steals. And, you know, Scooter Gennett, I he's now a rookie, obviously, but I think he's only 25. We're talking about him at bat. But it's been really fun for me this year, I have to say. While the team's record is somewhat similar to last year's unfortunate record, it's a lot more fun to watch this team because there's a lot of positive surprises. And Craig's got these guys playing with a ton of energy. Anybody who comes out to the ballpark can see it. And I hear it a lot from fans walking around Miller Park here about how much they like to see this young team play. So want to encourage people to come out and see for themselves. But I've been to a lot of games this year. It's been fun for me.
It's going to be an interesting month of July. Got the trading deadline coming up. I would imagine you guys are talking about possible moves. Anything in mind? Some thoughts in your mind about the trading deadline and how active the Brewers are going to be?
Well, David Stern's better to answer that because he's receiving the calls. To this point, we've been much more. We're not out actively shopping anybody. We are taking inbound calls. There were a number of inbound calls, for example, on Aaron Hill. So that's how that developed with the Red Sox, and then it ripened because they've had some injuries at that position, and they had another injury. So Dave Dombrowski made it pretty clear to David he was going to do something. So we made a decision there. We'll just see. We have a lot of individual performances are quite strong this year, actually. So we'll just see how it develops as it gets into the month.
Visiting with Mark Atanasio down by the Brewers dugout. Brewers have runners at the corners here. There goes VR. Jeanette swings and pops one foul out of play. I know the questions you're getting the most, and I'll have to ask you myself just to see where we're at. But you're hearing a lot about trades and getting those questions. But also, when do you feel like the Brewers will contend for a division title or a playoff spot? At the beginning of the year, you guys weren't really pinning down a certain year, a certain date, but where is that now? I mean, in your mind, when do you feel like this team will be where you want it to be in pursuing a postseason berth?
We've been, for obvious reasons, we've been hesitant to put a timeline on it, and we're cognizant that the Cubs, it's been 5 full years to get to this point. So, just looking at where our guys are at, we're hoping, come 2018, let's say, that we'll start to have a bunch of them at the major league level. Now, whether and how fast they coalesce, we'll have to see. If you think back to, Prince and Ryan and that other last wave of Corey Hart, J.J. Hardy, that last wave of players, Ricky Weeks, they kind of all came to the major leagues in 05, 06. And, 08 was, see the banner out there, 08 was the year. So there'll probably be a couple years in between when they get to the major leagues and when we're truly contending. So, a bunch of them are on track to be here by 2018, and we'll go from there.
And we always focus on everything that's happening at the major league level, and these are the players we see, and these are the games we're broadcasting. But there's so much going on. Just having a chat with David Stearns a couple of weeks ago that is going on inside the organization, not just your farm system, but your infrastructure. What can you tell us about that and what you have seen, your perspective from David Stearns and Matt Arnold, what they're building for the organization with the minor leagues, the international part of it, all that goes into producing major league talent?
Yeah, that's the part that is somewhat behind the scenes. Matt Arnold just made a trip down to the Dominican Republic.
We got VR in a rundown here, and that was a great pick. He's missed him twice, and he's out at second base. So that's a no-no by VR. First and third, one out with Braun at the plate. Now
we'll have the proverbial replay look at this. Craig is looking in the dugout, I can see.
Pretty quick reactions here by VR.
He just couldn't get to first base. I think if he's able to slide and get to the bag, he's all right. He just kind of stuck. And Matt Adams kind of surprised and just tried to tag him. But Jonathan VR making a mistake with Ryan Braun at the plate. Just can't do those types of things. And Markey seemed to have for a while there, cleaned up the base running mistakes. Craig Counsell likes the way he pushes the envelope, but just can't make mistakes like that.
Yeah, that's a little difficult. First and third, one out there. But, Craig, one thing I'm very confident. Craig has been very good at messaging to the guys as to what he wants to see, and he, as a player, he knows the balance. If you rein him in too much, then you don't get the 31 steals. And I think Craig, knows the balance as to how to weight that with the guys.
Right.
I think, by the way, when you're here and you can see, it's not like you look at Jonathan's reaction coming off the field. Not like he doesn't know it.
Right. There's Braun and a pop-up, foul territory. Going to head into the seats.
But as many as mistakes that he has made on the bases, I mean, how many times has he created runs with his good speed? You got to keep those things in mind as well.
Yeah, and it's they, for example, the fielders know he's going first to third on a single, and so there's been some bad pressured throws this year from guys. Sometimes it doesn't show up in the box score where we're able to get an extra base here and there because Jonathan's putting pressure on. So. He's also, as we saw the other night, I was at the Paul McCartney concert, and MLB.com popped up, one of those live look-ins, and I got to hear you guys announce that I got to the at-bat when it was like 2-0 or something, and he got that game-winning hit.
Yeah, it was a great moment for him. First walk-off of the year for the Brewers, and a terrific moment, getting Game 1 of this series. Brewers have a chance to win the series today. Let's see if Braun can pick up a run here with 2 outs. Got the pitcher Guerra at third base. Led the inning off with a double. Leake struck out Braun with a breaking ball in the first. See what he gives him. The 1-2. And Braun in the air. Little flare. Falling fast. Everybody's on chase. And it's a foul ball.
I didn't think they'd get there. I just didn't make it fair. Anyway, I was mentioning Matt Arnold. It took him 36 hours to get to the Dominican Republic. He was on a plane that was circling because of weather and ran out of fuel.
Oh, my gosh.
And had to land in like Allegheny, Pennsylvania or something. The glamorous life of a baseball executive.
Yes.
And, so I think he got down there, 36-hour flight to go to like 18 hours in the Dominican Republic. So, one of the things David and Matt are doing is top to bottom, they're trying to get a uniform system of instruction, even to the youngest players in the Dominican and what we do. And we want to see guys here, and we're going to work on trying to get the major league coaches more involved in some of the minor league coaching, so there's a common terminology.
Well, Braun strikes out to end the inning. Mark, great stuff. Always enjoy visiting with you. Enjoy the day, a Sunday afternoon at Miller Park.
Yeah, guys, enjoy the break, and thanks to all our fans for great support the first half of the year.
Absolutely. Well put. Thanks, Mark.
Well, I think wow would be the thing with Junior Guerra because I think it's a great credit to David and his crew on what they found for us there. He's just, I don't think we knew what we had in spring training. I'd be lying if I said we knew we had this. And so he's been he's been a really important player. I mean, I talked about the importance of starting pitching, and he's a guy that's solidified one of those 5 spots. And really, he's been our best guy.
Well, Junior Guerra has given up 1 today, a home run by Matt Adams to start the second, but he has 4 strikeouts. He's walked a batter, he's hit a batter. All tied at 1 as we go to the 4th. Guerra also has a double at the plate today. Brewers let an opportunity go by last inning. Sitting there with runners at first and third, and nobody out, and could not score. Base running blunder by VR. And Braun strikes out looking to end the inning. Good interview with Craig Counsell-Rock. Enjoyed that. Craig had a sit down with Bill Schroeder, and I thought one of the points he hit on about things to improve in the second half, obviously everything centers around your starting pitching, but the Brewers would like to figure out, I don't know if this is something you teach or something that just snowballs, but they've got to get better with runners in scoring position. I mean, that's a no-brainer. They're getting men on base a lot. I mean, that's been really a successful part of the offense, but driving them in the key situations has been a challenge.
Yeah, these guys maybe looking at their at-bats a little bit differently when they have a chance to drive and run. Maybe, putting too much pressure on themselves. And you're right. I mean, the base hits, the walks. I mean, they've been patient at the plate, but too many strikeouts with runners in scoring position in the first half of the season, and that's not something you teach. Not something that Darnell Coles or Jason Lane or anybody can go up there and try to explain to them. That's just something they have to work through, and as they evolve as major league players, those things tend to improve.
You rarely see Braun strike out with runners in scoring position, and Mike Leake has punched him out twice today. Called strike threes both occasions.
And once on a curveball, once on a fastball.
Two-two to Randall Grichuk. Cardinals center fielder today. In the air to left. That ball's hit well. Braun is over. It's got some carry. Braun is there. He makes the catch in foul territory. What a play by Ryan Braun into the deep corner of left field.
That's amazing how far that ball carried. Grichuk out in front of it. And Ryan Braun able to make a nice catch in foul territory up against the wall. Knew exactly where he was on that wall and hauls it in. That's a beauty.
Yeah, excellent play by Braun. Brewers have had some excellent defense today already. So 1 away, and Guerra will face Colton Wong. Wong a strikeout victim in the second inning. One of 2 lefties in the lineup against Guerra. I don't think Mike Matheny's looking up and down his roster trying to play matchup at this point. He's just looking for healthy bodies. He's got a lot of disabled list challenges right now, injury challenges.
Yeah, 2 lefties in the lineup and only 1 lefty on the bench. That's Greg Garcia.
Now Matt Holliday is available today. It's probably a guy you'd like to avoid if you're Matheny. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Matheny does have a loaded bullpen today, by the way. He's got a couple of starters that are hot this afternoon. Adam Wainwright and Jaime Garcia are both available for St. Louis if needed.
It's like September baseball for the Cardinals.
That's right. 2-2 the count. Way inside, almost hit him. And the count goes full to Wong. Now, Wong was in the big leagues to start the year, went back to AAA, wasn't hitting much, and they wanted to convert him to the outfield. So he did that, and he's come back, and with the injury to Carpenter, he's been back in the infield at second base mostly. Draws a 1-out walk. Second walk issued by Guerra.
Hey, there's another Free Shirt Friday coming up at Miller Park on Friday, July 22nd. As all fans in attendance for the Brewers series opener with the Cubs get a retro royal blue T-shirt courtesy of Orbis Corporation. Reserve your spot today at Brewers.com.
Brewers will enjoy the All-Star break for the next 4 days after today, and then they'll start up again in Cincinnati. Got a road trip, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, to start the second half. Even though we're past the halfway mark, technically, still known as first half, second half, prior to the All-Star break, post All-Star break is, if you're ever thumbing through splits of seasons or records, anything like that, even though there are more games in the first half.
Game 87 today.
Of a 162 game schedule. 45th home game. Brewers home record is over 500. They're 23-21. 12 under on the road, 15-27. A man on for Alberto Rosario. Rosario has yet to make an out in the major leagues. He's 2 for 2. A hit yesterday in a pinch hit appearance and an RBI. And a single his first time up. Both of the hits coming to the same spot in right field.
And the Brewers are giving him a big hole between first and second, even though both of his hits have come to right.
Guerra's looking for a ground ball here. He'd love to turn two, get out of this inning. One man out, no balls, 2 strikes on the Cardinal catcher. And nice play back there by Lucroy. Picked it clean. Those are tough, the fastballs.
Got to have good hands sometimes. Too late to, don't have enough time to get down on the knees and block them. Not the fastball. Short hop, nothing to it. Right in the heel of the glove. Sticks the landing.
Guerra going for the changeup here. The splitter. 1-2 the count. And a ground ball. Got a chance to turn it. Jeanette shovels it to VR. Fires to first in time. A double play. Just what he ordered up. 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. And we go to the bottom of the fourth, all tied. Jonathan Lucroy, all-star. He'll lead off when we continue. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Roof is open. Beautiful Sunday in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. All tied at 1. Cardinals Brewers. And here comes Lucroy. He'll start it for the Crew in this 4th inning. Brewers got a run in the first. Lucroy drove that run in. 2 out, 2 strike RBI single. Scored VR. And the Brewers leaving a man on at 3rd last inning. Cardinals run came on a Matt Adams homer to lead off the 2nd. Mike Leake facing Lucroy. Well, the numbers Lucroy has against Mike Leake jump off the page. He's now hitting .500 after his RBI hit in the 1st inning. 18 hits in 36 career at bats against Mike Leake.
And that's amazing. A couple of home runs in there, and when you see a number like that, 500, you figure maybe 3 for 6.
Yeah.
But 18 for 36, that's a legit.
2 homers, 8 RBIs, 3 walks. Here's another one. He's gone over 500 now.
And don't think Mike Leake doesn't know it either. Ends up making mistakes. Try to make that perfect pitch, and Leake saying, how's this guy continue to hit me like this? My goodness.
Putting up softball numbers. Now hitting .514 career against Leake.
Same pitch that he hit in the 1st inning for an RBI. Hit that one into center. Cutter ends up this time into left field. Maybe you might think about a different pitch. Cutter's not working.
3 of the 4 innings the Brewers have had their lead man reach. Here's Carter now. Carter sits atop the Powerball home run leaderboard with 22. Braun 13. Lucroy has 11. Lucroy homered here on Friday. And Chris takes a breaking ball for a strike. It's been a good pitch for Leake today. Leake has 5 strikeouts. He's gotten Braun twice, which is rare. 3 of his 5 strikeouts are backwards Ks, called strike 3s. 2-1. Carter, a little late, fouls it away.
Yeah, and 3 of them with runners in scoring position. That's what we were talking about last inning. Coming up with that big hit, at least making contact, put the ball in play. Especially a man at 3rd, less than 2 outs. In theory, it sounds easy. It really does. It's not.
Yeah, the good teams execute, though, in those scenarios. And Carter chases one. Good block by Rosario. Strikeout for Leake. That's his 6th. And the first out of the 4th inning. Well, All-Star game coming up Tuesday. Got the Home Run Derby tomorrow. All-Star game Tuesday on Fox. From San Diego, 6:30 is airtime. Joe Buck, John Smoltz, Tom Verducci, and Ken Rosenthal will be the reporters in that one. And looking forward to that one. Some of the great stars in the game. A lot of young talent. A lot of Cubs and a lot of Red Sox represented.
Got the one holdover, though. Big Poppy's going to be there. He'll bring that average age up a little bit.
He's busting the curve a little bit. You're right. By the way, speaking of Boston, they are in progress today. They're shutting out Tampa Bay. Aaron Hill is in the lineup for the Red Sox today. He's 0 for 3, but he's starting at 3rd. Hitting 6th in their lineup. Big Poppy is back at it today. Ortiz has homered, his 22nd of the year. Hit a 2-run home run. He just keeps putting up the numbers, and this is his final year, he says.
Yeah, why, right? DH. You can keep going. I understand if he's a catcher or something, but hey, you're a DH.
Anybody can do that.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying a little less taxing being a designated hitter.
Nieuwenhuis broke his bat.
That's in my mind. I think it's one of the hardest jobs in baseball, being a DH. I mean, not physically, but mentally. I mean, being able to figure out what to do with yourself between at bats. He's figured it out.
He's figured it out maybe as good as anybody ever. Think about DHs. Best designated hitters that come to mind. Certainly
Edgar Martinez.
Edgar and Harold Baines.
Right.
Was able to do it for a long time. Kept him in the game for a long time. Kept Paul Molitor in the game.
Yeah. Got his 3,000 hits because of the DH. All the injuries that he had.
Well, the old school in me still prefers pitcher's bat, but it's not going back. Matter of fact, it might go the other way. You might see the DH in both leagues at some point.
Better chance of that than doing away with the DH.
2-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Nieuwenhuis strikes out. Leak with back-to-back Ks. He's got 7. And the Brewers continue striking out at an alarming rate.
Brewers have not touched that curveball from Mike Leake. That pitch right there, the Brewers have not been able to even really foul it off. He keeps it down in the zone like that to get the swing and a miss, and he's been able to leave it up in his zone to get the called strike with the curveball.
7 punchies for Leak, and now 2 away for Hernan Perez, who was a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. Brewers lead the league in strikeouts as an offense this year. 15 yesterday. Leak has 7 today. Perez a little late off the end of the bat foul. 1-1. One and two.
You know, the crazy stat when you look at that with the the Brewers leading the league in strikeouts, the fact that they're 3rd in the league in drawing walks. So you figure you got a patient team up there, maybe patient to a fault, maybe not swinging at enough strikes, finding themselves down in the count and swinging at pitchers' pitches. But a lot of walks, a lot of strikeouts usually doesn't jive too much.
You got the Brewers are among league leaders in pitches per plate appearance. That's been an area of focus. And there's another strikeout. So Leak has dialed in that breaking ball. Strikes out the side after a leadoff single by Lucroy. We're still tied at 1. We go to the 5th.
Cardinals still even at 1. And hitting for the cycle, the Brewers Community Foundation's benefit bike ride returns to Miller Park this year on August 13th. The ride includes 4 routes for riders to choose from: 22, 44, 88, and 100 miles, all beginning and ending at Miller Park. Riders will enjoy a fun day on the bike, followed by a tailgate party and tickets to that evening's game against the Cincinnati Reds. Proceeds once again benefiting local nonprofits focusing on improving the lives of children and families in the greater Milwaukee area. And if you're interested in participating and hitting for the cycle, you can go to brewers.com/bike ride.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Guerra back to work, facing his mound opponent to start this 5th inning, Mike Leake. And Leake sitting with 8 strikeouts on the mound. Grounded to short in the 2nd inning. And that one's in the air, foul. Playable. Carter's over, and he's got it just in front of the rail. Chris Carter makes the play. Out number 1 for Guerra in the 5th inning. Let's check in on our Carsoup.com trivia today. Who are the only 2 Brewers pitchers to throw 3 innings in an All-Star game? 2 of them. It's hard to get 3 innings in an All-Star game these days.
You don't see that anymore, no.
That doesn't really happen.
Right.
Too protective of the organizations. Most managers are calling the All-Star manager saying, hey, don't pitch my guy, would you? He wants to pitch, and the fans want to see him, but I just prefer you leave him in the bullpen. A lot of responsibility on the All-Star managers. Ned Yost and Terry Collins.
And it doesn't stop at who they select. It's who they put in the game, when they put them in the game. And as you mentioned, a lot of organizations would just rather see some of their guys not even play.
Tommy Pham at the plate, a wave and a miss. Ball and 2 strikes on the Cardinal leadoff hitter.
Used to be you could make the All-Star team as a pitcher and not even be able to pitch because of where you finished the first half. You might have pitched the last game of the first half. You make the All-Star team. It's kind of a wasted spot. Not the case anymore.
Nice big hop for Perez. And a good throw in time for out number 2. Yeah, now that the game has the World Series home field advantage on the line. Seen a couple of waves of changes throughout the years. There was a brief wave where you saw some utility players being added to the All-Star game. And then, of course, the pitching situation where everybody who's there is available. Guys who are selected, like a Madison Bumgarner, who was an All-Star selection but is pitching today for the Giants. He still can go and enjoy and participate in all the events, but just not on the active roster. It's still the most competitive All-Star game of all the sports. Always has been, even more so with the home field advantage for the World Series there.
You don't think a 15-14 NHL All-Star game is competitive?
Or a 170 to 155 NBA All-Star game?
Right.
I don't even know if they play an All-Star game in the NFL anymore. They ought to just, I don't even know what to do with the Pro Bowl at this point.
Pro Bowl, yeah, you're right.
I mean, come on. Their heart's in it to be on the team, but I can understand why those guys, after getting beat up all year, don't want to go get beat up for one more day.
Right.
Baseball's a little different that way, though. It's an everyday sport. Players are used to towing it up every day. Ground ball off of Guerra. Ricochets out to Perez. No chance to get Diaz, who runs well. And that's going to be an infield hit for Ledmus Diaz. With 2 away, it's going to bring Piscotty up.
Did a nice job going down and getting that pitch down in the strike zone, and reached for it, still able to barrel it up because he's able to keep the hands back. Talking about a guy that's able to make contact. You make contact, give yourself a chance, and this time ricochets off of Guerra, and it's a base hit.
I mean, that swing right there is exactly what you're talking about, with shortening up with 2 strikes. Make something happen. There's so many guys with the big full swings with 2 strikes. And there are a lot more home runs. The Brewers certainly can attest to that. And Major League Baseball just saw a record-breaking month of home runs in the month of June. But I'll tell you this, you can ask any pitcher, he'd rather a guy take the big full swing with 2 strikes as opposed to the one Diaz just took.
And it's not just the Brewers. I mean, you see that all around baseball, taking a big wild hack, even small guys that don't hit a lot of home runs.
Well, Craig Counsell puts it best, and he's a great thinker anyway. Philosophically about the game, says if you incentivize putting the ball in play, the small ball or the 2-strike approach, even if we're going that detailed, then players will adjust. But home runs are what pays right now.
How do you do that, though?
I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons, though, why the game gets so much better in a pennant race down the stretch and into the postseason, because in the postseason you see that.
More of a team game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
give yourself up, right?
Hitters that are normally freewheeling it with 2 strikes are, in fact, trying to put the ball in play for the most part. Not everybody, but it's a beautiful game when it's at that level. Little flare, shallow center, going to be a tough play, and Neuenhuis can't get it. Diaz is still running, and he's coming all the way around to score. Man, oh man, Diaz was flying around the bases, never slowed down with 2 outs, and is able to score on that little flare by Piscotty, and the Cardinals have the lead.
Well, once again, 2-strike approach, first by Diaz to keep the inning alive. And now by Piscotty, a 2-strike pitch. He puts the ball in play, and look at Diaz just hustling around the bags. And Neuenhuis throws it into second base. He's on the seat of his pants, and the Cardinals pick up a gift run. Not given up by the Brewers. It's just good hustle, good plate discipline, putting it in play with 2 strikes. And this guy taking nothing for granted. Ball drops, they keep him going, and scores easily.
So it's 2-1. Piscotty with an RBI. Here's Peralta now, and a swing and a miss.
Hard to get an RBI single with a man at first base.
Yep.
That doesn't happen every day.
And you hate to say it, you almost hate to praise it, but there are a lot of players that aren't going to be running like Diaz with 2 outs on a fly ball like that. They should, but they don't. This will get him out of the inning. Jeanette in the grass. He's got it, and that will retire the side. But the Cardinals hustling their way to a second run. They now lead 2-1 as we go to the 5th.
Your starter jackets, BA, because 90s Night is coming to Miller Park on July 20th. Or I should say July 30th. Fans who purchase this special ticket package will get a Totally Fly Fresh Prince inspired Will Smith player tees. I do that right?
You read that.
Visit brewers.com/theme nights.
You just like brushed right over the fly part.
Totally Fly Fresh Prince inspired Will Smith t-shirt.
That's great.
Wow.
As if you said it. It was written for your words. I like that.
You know, that's one I should have looked at ahead of time.
Happy birthday, by the way, to Will Smith. Always entertaining down there. The Will Ferrell of the Brewers bullpen.
A world of their own down there in the bullpen.
Will Smith's been trying to reach out to the actor Will Smith. He's been trying to connect with him for years. To no avail just yet. So he went with the Fresh Prince t-shirt. And look at Jeremy Jeffress. Those two are the best of friends. They're always next to each other. And it is a comedy show. I like what Craig Counsell told you before the game. The culture of the bullpen that the Brewers have been very fortunate to have over a lot of years now. And it really started with the Trevor Hoffman era when he came in, and then Axford carried that on. Frankie Rodriguez, and that set it up for guys like Will Smith and Jeremy Jeffress. Marcus Hanel, the bullpen catcher, has been a part of all of that. He's kind of the common thread down there.
He's a big part of what goes on down there. You're right. When you talk about the culture, it's about pride and success. It's not just on the field. It's the work ethic, the work that they do before games to keep themselves in shape and stay ready. That's the legacy that Trevor Hoffman has left here in Milwaukee.
Another strikeout. Mike Leake picks up his season high with that one. 9 punch-outs for Leake. And let's see here. The last 6 outs are strikeouts for Mike Leake.
Can we get back to that promo for a minute?
Yes.
It started with Totally Fly.
Right.
Comma.
Totally.
What does that mean?
Just, you know, cool, good.
Oh, is it?
It's a good thing. It's fly.
Oh, okay.
Kind of hip, kind of good. You know, it's
receive a
very
Totally
much a
Fly,
90s term.
Comma, Fresh Prince dash inspired Will Smith player tee.
You should really underline the fly and hit that with a little more punch next time. That's the key word.
I will next time I read it.
In that sentence.
I mean, I never saw that before.
Junior Guerra to left field on the run, and making the catch is Pham. Taking a hit away from Guerra.
Didn't misjudge that one. He misjudged the first double by Guerra. Took a really good route on that one. Angled back toward the corner and able to grab it. 2 hardest hit balls of the day have come from the Brewers pitcher today.
Nice play by Pham. Top of the order here is Jonathan Villar. And at the plate, presented by Wendy's. 2 for 2 today. Doubled to start it in the first inning and then scored. Had an infield hit and was picked off. Officially a caught stealing for Villar in the third. Mike Leake's career high for strikeouts is 12. Did that in 2014 as a member of the Reds. He's got 9 right now. Brewers had the chances early against him. Had a run in the first. Had 2 men on, first and third, with nobody out in the third inning, and could not score. That was the inning Villar got picked off. To left field, slicing, but Pham was playing over there, and he's got it to end the inning. 6 in a row for Mike Leake. 8 out of 9 he's retired. 2-1 Cardinals.
Miller Park, fans taking in the series finale final game before the All-Star break. The Cardinals have a 2-1 lead as we head to the 6th. Our minor league report. Congratulations are in order to the lefty, Josh Hader, who will this afternoon participate in the Futures game in San Diego at Petco Park as part of the All-Star Week activities. And it was this season in Biloxi that he was really outstanding. He went 2-1 with an earned run average of just .95 in 11 starts for the Shuckers. Was called up to Colorado for his work and has struggled a little bit since then, but overall a 2-3 record. That earned run average still very good at .256. So congratulations to Josh Hader, the 4th best prospect in the Brewers organization.
He has emerged as one of the stars of the system right now. He and the talented AAA shortstop Orlando Arcia.
Further proof that it's difficult to pitch in Colorado Springs. Josh Hader was giving up nothing down in Biloxi.
I saw a note. I'm not sure where it came from. I was just reading through some info, but half the roster from the Futures game last year are in the big leagues or have been to the big leagues since.
Yeah.
That's a fun game to watch. Adams with a big swing. He's down 1-2.
The best of the best down in the minor leagues playing that game.
Junior Guerra, never part of a Futures game or an all-star team. He's just getting it done at the big league level, which is where you want to do it.
Another good start so far here at Miller Park. Cardinals the only team that have beaten him this year.
Guerra 6-1, .293 earned run average. Adams pulls one foul. I think what's most interesting about Guerra, his starts this year, the Brewers are 10-2. This is a team that is 10 games under 500. And when Guerra's on the mound, the Brewers are 8 over.
Well, Craig Counsell also said that in the interview that I did with him that we showed on Brewers Live today, that starting pitching obviously important, but when the starting pitching keeps the opposition down and gives the Brewers an opportunity to win, I mean, that's a good thing. And Guerra has done that for the most part every one of his starts.
Starts the inning with a strikeout. Junior Guerra punches out Matt Adams. Let's check in with Sophia. She had a chance to catch up with Guerra's battery mate, Jonathan Lucroy. What do you have to say?
Well, Jonathan Lucroy had high praise for what Guerra has done, saying no doubt he's been our best starter and certainly one of the surprises, considering he didn't start in the starting rotation at the beginning of the season. And he said what's really impressive, he said his path to the major leagues has really carried over onto the mound. He said it's just playing first base even when he was in Washington, watching him as he goes through his mechanics on the mound, as he goes through his game plan. He says everything he does, he said he does not get rattled. His demeanor is very poised, very confident, he said, and he thinks a lot of that has to do with his path to the big leagues. Everything he had to overcome to get here, he said he does not get rattled at any situation.
Playing on house money, really. I mean, he never thought he was ever going to get here at this level and be here this long. And I mean, you can handle that one of two ways. I mean, you can put a lot of pressure on yourself and think, this is my chance, I got to get it done, and fail miserably. You kind of take a different approach. You sit back and say, hey, I'm going to have fun. I'm in the major leagues. I'm going to have fun. I'm not going to waste this opportunity by putting too much pressure on myself. And I think that's what Junior did early on when he started to make his starts at this level.
Well, there was a presence in Milwaukee that had to work to the benefit of Junior Guerra. Brewers first base coach and infield coach Carlos Subero. There's Carlos. And he's known Junior a long time. Knew him even back in his catching days. And they've been together on a number of Venezuelan Winter League teams. And Subero was the one that stuck his neck out most for Guerra as far as being a starting pitcher. He just felt like he would thrive as a starter because he would take in the repetition of a starting pitcher, being able to utilize the between starts days, the side sessions, because let's face it, he hadn't pitched much converting from a catcher, and the innings he was pitching were always, as Carlos says, survival innings. He's going out for an inning here or there, just trying to survive wherever he's been, whether he's been in the Caribbean in the Winter League or trying to make it to the big leagues with the White Sox.
I think it's because of that move to the starting rotation. He's been able to work on that split change, because if he had that pitch all along, he would have been in the big leagues long before this.
Right.
No question.
3-2 pitch, and that one's hit well to left. Grichuk sends that one out of here with one hand almost. And now the Cardinals up 3-1. Boy, Grichuk has so much pop.
Man, he was out on his front foot and still able to get enough of it to knock it out of here. There's a curveball from Junior Guerra on a 3-2 pitch, and look at this, one-handed. I'm talking about one-handed at the point of contact even. I mean, he can't do that. Not many guys can do that. That's an amazing swing, an amazing result. One-handed on a 3-2 curveball, and look how far it goes.
Crazy power. Look at this. This is the point of contact here.
Yeah. One hand on the bat. I don't think I've ever seen that. I mean, a lot of guys will make contact, let go of the top hand. I mean, that's normal. I mean, a lot of guys will do that, but not at the point of contact. Not when you're so far out in front of a pitch that you can't even keep that top hand on the bat as you're making contact. That's unusual. And then to hit it out that far. Yeah.
A no doubter.
Most guys, if they do that, they're going to flare it over the first baseman's head.
Well, it makes it a 6-game hitting streak for Grichuk as he's come back. Now Wong sends one to right, and that's going to split the gap. Wong has great speed. Flores gets to it quickly, and Guerra's starting to give up some hard hit balls now. So back-to-back hits after the strikeout to Adams. One away in the 6th inning. Cardinals are now up 3-1, and the bullpen is active. Tyler Thornburg and Carlos Torres getting loose. The bench sends Lucroy out for a visit, maybe trying to buy some time for the two relievers.
Trying to figure out why you have two right-handers up at the same time. I guess one of them's going to be coming in if Guerra can't get out of this inning, and the other is going to come in next inning. Not sure which is which, but you know, the way Mike Leake has been throwing the baseball, Craig Counsell feels as though he can't afford to fall behind any further. Already down by 2 runs.
Derek Johnson, the pitching coach, in his first season. And Guerra will continue. It's going to be Rosario with a runner at second. Brewers can ill afford to go down any more at this point. Down 3-1. Brewers will have Jeanette, Braun, and Lucroy coming up in the bottom of this 6th inning. Guerra trying to put the lid on it right here. On the ground to third. Perez will wind it up. Long throw is a good one. 2 outs. Keeps Wong at second. And now the pitcher Mike Leake coming up. Nationals beat the Mets today. That game just ended. Daniel Murphy homered again. 2-run home run. He has destroyed his old team this year.
Making them pay, right? For not keeping him. It's a bold move for the Mets, letting him go.
They didn't think he was worth 3 years and nearly $40 million. Nationals paid it. Murphy still leading the league in hitting. That's a big win for the Nationals. 3-2 over the Mets. That division race was getting pretty tight. The Brewers took 2 out of 3 from Washington. But the Nats have gone in there and won 3 out of 4 from the Mets and are up 6 games in the division heading into the All-Star break.
He's had 7 home runs against the Mets this year.
That's it.
Yeah.
7. Nationals up 6 in their division. Cubs started the day with a 6.5 game lead. They lead the Pirates in the 7th inning right now, 5-4. And then the National League West, the Giants have a 6.5 game lead to start the day over the Dodgers. Dodgers are at home against the Padres, and the Giants at home tonight against Arizona. Dodgers and Padres underway shortly. So I don't know if the division leaders would call it comfortable leads, but they're all going to be 5.5, 6 games up going into the break. Same story in the American League, other than the AL East. That's the tight race. Baltimore, Boston, Toronto. As Guerra walks Leake.
And now you might see the pitching change right here. And then you got the top of the order coming up. And here comes Craig Counsell.
So Guerra cannot get through the 6th inning. And he's going to have some help to stay out of the loss column today against St. Louis. Only team that's beat him this year. Well, not a horrible day, but not a Guerra-like day. Either way, it's going to be a phenomenal first half for Junior Guerra as he exits. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Last day before the All-Star break, and the Brewers find themselves down 3-1. Junior Guerra 5 2/3 innings, and still a couple of runners are his responsibility. He is going to ask his bullpen to strand those two. It'll be Tyler Thornburg who will inherit the 2 runners. Cardinals lead it. Got a run in this inning on a Grichuk homer, a single and a walk. And now Thornburg to face Tommy Pham, the Cardinal leadoff hitter today.
Yeah, Thornburg, not a guy that normally comes in the middle of an inning. He typically starts innings, but when he has come in during an inning, he's stranded all 7 base runners that he's inherited. Tyler last pitched on Friday against the Cardinals, a scoreless inning.
There's the strike. 1-1 the count. Pham has homered in this series. That came yesterday. Straightaway center field home run. He doubled earlier today. Hit a shot in the 3rd inning into the gap in left center. Big swing for Tommy Pham. Pham's got 3 home runs in his brief career in the big leagues at Miller Park. Hit 2 in 1 game last season. Of his 8 career major league homers, 3 at Miller Park.
Yeah.
Two and two with 2 outs. Couple of men on. Thornburg trying to strand him right there. And a fastball misses. Full count. Runners will go. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Thornburg strikes him out to end the inning. Strands a couple of runners. The Brewers down a pair. We go to the bottom of the 6th from Miller Park. Fifth. RBI by Piscotty with 2 outs, and then a home run by Grichuk has him up 3-1. And in our high-speed replay, courtesy of AT&T, Mike Leake is racking up the Ks today. He's got 9 of them, a season high. 12 is his career high. And Mike Leake, after a couple of rocky innings where the Brewers had a chance to score some runs, he has settled down and locked down the crew since.
Common theme in all these strikeouts that you see on the screen, curveballs, just about every one of them. They had a good one today.
Leake's retired 8 of his last 9 batters faced. He's at 6 in a row right now, and the Brewers are going to try to break through somehow. Down 2. Pitch count's in good shape for Leake. He's been very efficient. That was pitch number 75. Scooter Gennett followed by Ryan Braun in this inning, and then Lucroy. This is the part of the order to do it. Gennett struck out in the 3rd with runners at 1st and 3rd. Had a ground out in the 1st inning that advanced a runner. That one's on the ground to Wong, and that'll be out number 1.
Hey, today's time of the game winner, Hawks Nest in Appleton, if they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. They'll get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in Miller Lite Beer Pen. It's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Say hey to all of our friends with the Timber Rattlers. Brewers single A affiliate in Appleton, the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. Nice feature today by Sophia in our Brewers Live pregame. Braun with a chopper to short, backhanded by Diaz. Throw to first is low, and it's scooped by Adams for the out. Man alive. Some 2 big league scoops right there.
That's one of those in-between hops that you throw your glove at it and you hope for the best. On both ends right there. I mean, first was Diaz, and look at the scoop by Adams. Sometimes you got to get lucky in this game, and the snow cone, he gets the out.
Make that 3 scoops with the snow cone. Yeah, those 2 hooked up a couple of occasions. Diaz has put on a show defensively today. 2 outs for Lucroy now. One thing about Aledmys Diaz, he signed a 4-year deal out of Cuba with the Cardinals. He's in year 3 of this 4-year contract. That's the way you have to do it with Cuban players and some international players from Japan or Korea. It's not like a player in the Dominican Republic or Venezuela where you sign him as a teenager. So it was a 4-year deal, and it was a major league contract after he defected from Cuba. And it was about a year ago this time, matter of fact, a year and 3 days, that he was designated for assignment. Any team in the big leagues could have picked him up. But who knew? Who knew he'd be this good at the major league level? Certainly a prospect, but nobody had any idea he'd be this talented. And he's in the hole with a backhand, and a long throw is a good one, right on cue. Play after play, day after day, Aledmys Diaz proving himself to be the shortstop of the future in St. Louis. Games. He's got a infield hit, was hit by a pitch. And maybe symbolic of the kind of player he is. He's scored from first base on a little flare into right center. Neuenhuis dove for it, couldn't catch it. And where most players are going to pull up thinking that's going to be a routine out or at least a routine single, Diaz just plowed his way around the bags, never slowed down, and scored from first base on a fly ball that went about 200 feet into right center.
Yeah, scoring a single, you don't see that every day. I saw Molitor do that with the bases loaded. Molitor's on first base. This was in Kansas City. 3-2 pitch. Everybody's running on the pitch with 2 outs. It was a long single into the gap in left center. Molitor able to score on a single. That's the only other time I've seen that.
It's impressive.
But when you're running on the pitch on a 3-2, I mean, you're almost at second base by the time the guy hits it. That wasn't the case with Diaz.
Thornburg deals and Diaz fouls one back. He was chasing that high fastball. You can hardly find a hole in his game right now. Maybe he swings too much. Maybe he chases. But that's a lot of guys still, especially rookies. Hard to be critical of what he's doing. He's hit for power. Has 13 home runs. He's been a run producer. He's sitting nearly 50 RBIs. He's got 48 on the year.
He's a hacker. He's only got 28 walks, 42 punch-outs. So he puts the ball in play most of the time.
A 921 OPS from the shortstop position. It's pretty strong. Will pop up. Carter's over. And he's got it for the out. One away in the 7th. Take you back to our carsoup.com trivia question today. Who are the only 2 Brewers pitchers to throw 3 innings at an All-Star game? And you got to go back to Larry Sorensen in '78, and then Teddy Higuera did it in 1986.
Yeah, I remember when Teddy did it. I did not know Larry Sorensen. Pretty good right-handed pitcher for the Brewers.
One gone. Stephen Piscotty at the plate. On the first pitch, he lines one to center, a base hit. Piscotty is 2 for 4, has an RBI. He had a foot injury when the Brewers saw him in St. Louis. He didn't go on the DL, but was out for a few days. First, he got hit by a pitch on the foot, and then he trying to make a play in the outfield. The fly ball hit him in the foot as he was going into the wall. Same spot.
What's the chances of that, right?
That's so rare. And they said that it was so swollen he couldn't even get a shoe on the next couple of days. Johnny Peralta 0 for 2 with a walk today.
We've been talking about all the players I think on the Brewers are going to benefit from the 4 days off. What about the Brewers bullpen?
Yeah,
that has been a very hard worked group in the first half.
What do relievers do for an all-star break? Do most guys just not throw it all, completely shut down, or is it important to have a catch? Liner to left, a sinking liner. Braun plays it on a hop. Base hit for Peralta. 2 on with 1 away.
I would imagine they're going to pick up a baseball at some point. Yeah, maybe take a couple of days off, maybe play a little long toss for a few minutes, and you don't know. It's up to the individual based on how they feel, I guess.
Will Smith is ready in the pen. You got Adams coming up, the big left-handed slugger. And Council's trying to get through this 7th with Thornburg. And you'd have Smith for the 8th and Jeffers for the 9th. Regardless if you're ahead or trailing, as they are now 3-1. Everybody's going to pitch in that rotation. He'll half swing. He goes on a curveball.
He hasn't missed any fastballs today. I mean, he's hit some fastballs hard foul. He also hit a Guerra home run way back and down the right field line. He has struggled today on the breaking pitch, the splitter, and right there the curveball from Tyler Thornburg.
No balls and a strike on Adams. In the dirt, runners will hold. Good play by Lucroy, keeps a double play alive.
I think that one got a piece of Luke somewhere, and he's just walking it off. Got him on the hand.
Lucroy probably wouldn't feel like he participated in a game if he didn't get dinged up. Oh yeah, right on the wrist.
Yeah, right on the right wrist.
Man, that's why it's so impressive that he's been able to maintain the hitting at the level he's been able to do it throughout his career. All those dings on the hands and fingers, and
every catcher goes through it. That's why you don't see too many catchers winning batting titles. That's the thing about Joe Mauer when he was winning batting titles behind home plate. Not often.
Usually the most talented offensive catchers are quickly moved away from the catching position. Big swing by Adams. 2-2. Think about Yogi Berra and Johnny Bench. Two prolific hitters.
Piazza stayed behind home plate.
He wanted to stay. He loved the position.
Going into the Hall of Fame this year.
Buster Posey the same way. He wants to stay behind the plate. There's a strikeout for Thornburg. Goes up the ladder with a fastball. And Adams chases. Second strikeout for Tyler Thornburg. It's out number 2 of this 7th inning.
And the struggles for Matt Adams continue. He has homered today, but 3 punch outs right after that. I guess a home run and 3 strikeouts not a bad day.
Take that, especially when you hit one 455 feet. If you're going to go in a 1 for 31 stretch, that's the one you want to have. Randall Grichuk now, and Thornburg ahead of him. He swings and misses with 2 hands on the bat. With 1 hand, he hits home runs. Grichuk hit a no-doubter in the 6th inning with his left hand only.
And it was on a curveball too, so I doubt Lucroy is going to throw him one of those.
Cardinals, one of the more prolific home run hitting teams in the big leagues. That is their strength. 2 of them today. 1-2 the count. St. Louis has 2 home runs today and have now homered in 18 straight games at Miller Park. Only the Nationals with more home runs in the NL. Thornburg, strike away from getting out of the 7th. 2 on. Grichuk buckled his knees. Thornburg strikes him out. 3 Ks for Thornburg in his inning and a 3rd, and we go to the bottom of the 7th with the Cardinals up 3-1. Turn it over to Miller Park, their production of God Bless America. Enjoy.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Cardinals up 3-1. We go to the home 7th. Brewers are coming up. Chris Carter will lead off for Milwaukee. He was 0 for 2 today, trying to get the bat going. 22 home runs for Chris Carter on the Powerball home run count. And he had 2 against the Cardinals here on Friday night.
22 home runs, 16 of them here at Miller Park, and he's only hit 5 of those 22 home runs to left field. So center field, right field power for Chris Carter.
Mike Leake, and that's fair, just inside the line. Carter thinking about 2, and he's on his way. Now that gets into the corner, and the big man is rumbling his way to third. It will be a triple for Chris Carter. Great way to start the inning. Carter goes for 3.
Yeah, first of the year for Carter. Yeah, it wasn't played very well down the line out there by Piscotty. Right off the end of the bat. Now that's how strong Chris Carter is. I know we talk a lot about it, but plays the carom not very well, and because of that, Chris Carter able to get in with a leadoff triple. Could barely see him, he's going so fast.
Made it easily to third base. So the Brewers in business right away in the 7th.
I mean, right off the end of the bat, and it goes all the way down in the corner in right field.
First of the season, 4th triple of his career for Chris Carter. Neuenhuis 0 for 2 against Mike Leake. Brewers have to pick this run up here. Runner at third, nobody out, down a pair. Leake's had the swing and miss stuff going today. Has 9 strikeouts. Last inning, 3 up, 3 down with 3 ground ball outs. Cardinals will concede a run here on a ball on the ground. And Neuenhuis, a little half swing. He goes. It's 2-2.
Yeah, when he's in trouble, Leake goes to that curveball. And a hitter's count, he goes with it. Then Neuenhuis tried to hold up, couldn't do it. Curveball's been his out pitch today.
Struck out Neuenhuis with it in the 4th inning. The 2-2. Little jam shot right to the shortstop on the shift. Neuenhuis is out. Carter has to hold his ground. One away, and you see Broxton loosening for the Cardinals. Matheny is allowing Leake to stretch this one out. His pitch count's in great shape. He's only at 90 right now. But if the Brewers score a run, you might see Broxton enter the game. Perez now.
Or another base runner. They're conceding a run. They got the infield back.
4 of the 7 innings, the Brewers have had the leadoff batter reach base. Only one of those 4 have scored at this point. That was VR's leadoff double in the first inning. Lucroy drove in that only run in the first with 2 outs. Cardinals got one in the second. Got one in the 5th and then another in the 6th. And Leake has Perez in the hole 1 and 2. Leake has struck out Perez twice already. And he got him again. 2 outs. Strikeout number 10 for Mike Leake, and Carter still at third base.
And guess what it was, right? Again, the curveball.
That is a sharp, nasty breaking ball that Leake's got going today. 10 punch outs. He's 2 away from his career best. Ramon Flores takes a ball. That Carter triple, the first Brewer base runner to make it into scoring position since the 3rd inning. 1 and 2 on Flores. Boy, Leake's got it going today. Brewers hoping for a mistake. He hasn't made many. Pouring in the strikes, sitting on 10 strikeouts. And now Rosario wants to work it out.
Yeah, who's the veteran there, right? Rosario rubbing his back. Leake's been in the big league now 7 years.
Rosario 11 and a half years in the minor leagues. Leake never spent 1 day in the minor leagues. That's a good one. Who's giving who the advice?
Right.
The 29-year-old catcher or Mike Leake? Up and in.
Well, when he's been in trouble, he's gone to that curveball all day. Let's see what he does now.
2-2 the count on Flores. On the ground to second. Easy for the Cardinals. Mike Leake gives up a leadoff triple, and the Brewers strand him right there. 3-1 St. Louis. Let's take a look at our game summary. Get you caught up here. Jonathan Lucroy in the first inning with a 2-out RBI single. Put the Brewers on the board. But it has been all Cardinals since. Matt Adams homered to tie it in the second. Long home run to right. And then the Cardinals added one on a Randall Grichuk home run in the 6th inning. They scored a run in the 5th as well. Piscotty had an RBI, but the 2 home runs have the Cardinals up 3-1. And Mike Leake getting hugs from his starting pitcher mates, Garcia and Wainwright. And looks like he's done for the day. 7 innings, season high, 10 strikeouts. And rocked a few opportunities the Brewers had. Leake quickly snuffed it out.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it when we came on the air today that Leake is not going to walk guys. He doesn't walk people. No walks, 10 punch outs, and really the Brewers, we talk about being aggressive early in the count. He really didn't give the Brewers much to hit as the game went on.
Now Wong bunts, and Will Smith going to lose that foot race every time. That's a perfect bunt by Colton Wong. And he has 2 hits today, a leadoff single for the Cardinals.
Once you get this ball by the pitcher, there's no chance, and that's what happens here. You bunt it towards second base. Carter has to go get it, and no way Will Smith can get there in time.
Smith had that knee injury at spring training and pitches with the knee brace on. He actually tore the LCL, but no surgery. Rehabbed it, strengthened around it. And he hasn't had a whole lot of bunts to field. But that was the biggest concern for Craig Counsell and the medical staff with Smith coming back, was all the little plays, the awkward plays, you know, fielding ground balls back to the mound, the little dribblers where you got to plant and throw, and he's handled that beautifully. He made the right decision.
Yeah, but maybe has been told don't push it too much on plays like that.
Rosario, the batter, he shows bunt, bunts it foul. Matt Holliday on deck. He'll hit for Leake. Smith gave up a game-tying home run Friday to Molina in the 8th inning. Brewers won that game in the 9th. Overall, though, he's been terrific. Right back to form. Rosario gets a bunt down. Smith fields it and will go to first. And he looked pretty bouncy going after that one. That's what we're talking about.
Man, no problem there.
Sacrifice bunt for Rosario. So Smith with a runner at second now. Rosario, a good day in his first big league start. 1 for 3. And here comes Matt Holliday, and here comes Derek Johnson with a quick scouting report.
Well, so apparently Matt Holliday's just fine, just given a couple of days off and then the All-Star break. And Mike Matheny picking his spots to use his best hitter off the bench. Rolled his ankle rounding first on a base hit. That was on Friday night.
Well, there is a base open at first. Holliday's been a struggling hitter. He's got the power numbers. 15 homers. Slugging percentage at .450. But his batting average is down. It's only hitting .241. Starts him with a hook. As a pinch hitter, Holliday is 2 for 4. Doesn't do it much at all. His days off are usually full days off. 3-1 Cardinals, 8th inning. Brewers running out of outs.
Well, Holiday, one of those guys that his bat has slowed down somewhat, and Brewers have had success coming inside on him, but if you leave it out over the plate, he can hurt you.
He's got the speedy Colton Wong at second. And Smith misses low, 2-1. Holiday rolled his right ankle rounding first base on Monday, or rather Friday, I beg your pardon. And he played a couple of extra innings in that game, but then he ended up coming out and did not play yesterday. 2-2.
And maybe look at that curveball on that pitch on a 2-1 count. Smith started him out with a curveball for a called strike, maybe looking for one. He took a pretty good fastball to hit.
Will Smith pitching on his birthday today. Trying to put up a 0 in the 8th inning, give the Brewers a chance. Wong at second. Full count.
Pretty good pitch right there. Veteran hitter lays off of that. Will Smith is going to get a lot of swings on that pitch. It's pretty close to the same pitch that Molina hit out of the ballpark against Smith on Friday.
Fastball. Holiday in the air. Long run for Flores. He's there. He's got it in fair territory. And Wong bluffs a go at second base. So Smith retires Matt Holiday. Got the fastball by him.
Yeah.
2 outs now. Top of the order coming up. Tommy Pham.
That's the way you pitch Matt Holiday, but you better put it in a good spot. Up is better than down against that guy.
So it'll be Pham now, who has doubled today. He's 1 for 4. Big runner to leave stranded for Will Smith. Drops a curveball in there for a strike. Looking ahead to the Milwaukee 8th inning. Have a pinch hitter in the pitcher spot. And then to the top of the order, VR and Jeanette. Anybody gets on, Ryan Braun will bat in the 8th. The inning to strike if you're a Brewer. 0-2 the count. Smith deals, and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. 3 straight breaking balls from Will Smith. He strands a runner at second base. Brewers coming up in the home 8th.
have to pinch hit to lead off the bottom of the 8th for Milwaukee. Still a close game, 3-1. Brewers finally get Mike Leake out of the ballgame. That'll be good. He has allowed only 4 base runners in the last 22 batters he faced in this game. Coming up after the game, we'll cover it all on Brewers Live postgame. And then after that, you can check out our Fox Sports Wisconsin Facebook page and check out our series recap, the final pitch powered by Evinrude. All coming up in just a bit here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Don't forget, Rock will join me on the postgame show for the final time here before the All-Star break. Looking forward to that.
All right, Craig, thanks. Rock's getting all geared up for his Brewers Live appearance today.
I like working with Craig down there. He does a good job in that pre and post game show. Makes it fun as Jonathan Broxton continues here for the Cardinals. Earned run average just under 4 for Jonathan Broxton.
Andy Wilkins pinch hitting for Milwaukee. Looking for his first hit as a Brewer. This is his 4th plate appearance. All of them coming as a pinch hitter since he arrived to the ball club in D.C. Brewers are down 2. Got the top of the order coming up next. Mike Leake was fantastic today for St. Louis. As Wilkins pops it foul, that's going to be in the seats. Leake with 7 innings and 10 strikeouts. Did not walk a batter. And left runners stranded, key runners stranded in the 3rd and in the 7th. Brewers left a man at third base in each of those 2 innings. They scored in the first off Leake, and then when he settled down, it was lights out. Cardinal bullpen has been a little suspect this year. We saw Broxton yesterday loosening, preparing for a potential save situation until the Cardinals erupted in the 9th inning and scored 5 runs. It was a save situation, though, to start the inning, and looked like Broxton was going to pitch the 9th. And then once the Cardinals jumped the lead to 8-1, Broxton sat down. Here he is today in what looks like a setup role. Sungwon Oh is the closer now.
Yeah, Broxton is still able to get a pitch from time to time up into the mid-90s. 95, 96, cruising speed about 93. Slider to go with it.
2-2 to Wilkins. Down he goes.
And that's a good slider right there. Had good velocity in that at bat. Topped that at 97. Hey, MLB TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every Adam Markey game live in HD on over 100 or 400 supported devices. Visit Brewers.tv for details.
One away, top of the order. Here is VR against the former Brewer, Jonathan Broxton. VR is 2 for 3 today. And his out was a line drive out. Hit one sharply to left. Tommy Pham had a nice running catch toward the line. Yeah, Broxton's got his fastball back.
Yeah, it does.
He's riding it in there at 97 miles an hour. Looks like the closer, Jonathan Broxton, we saw as a member of the Dodgers a few years back, was an all-star as a closer. Brewers traded him last year. St. Louis in a pennant race. You don't see teams trade inside your own division much, but the Brewers and Cardinals have hooked up on a couple of occasions, and both for relievers. 1 year Jonathan Axford and Jonathan Broxton. Good play down there by the ball boy. Yeah, got a souvenir Batman hat and a Rob Manfred baseball. You better let your sister hang on to that for a little bit.
She doesn't look too interested.
She just wants to see some runs on the board like the rest of us. She's focused. Count is full. The gentle giant, Jonathan Broxton.
Which one's gentler? He or Carter?
That's a good call. Very similar personalities. Strike called. VR got caught guessing. Broxton threw him the slider and he strikes him out. Back-to-back Ks in the inning.
Yeah, both coming on the slider. Breaking pitch has not been the friend of this Brewers offense today. Curveballs from Leak. And back-to-back at bats, strikeouts with a slider for Jonathan Broxton.
Well, that's the closer stuff that Broxton used to show with the Dodgers. That upper 90s fastball and that upper 80s slider. Little chopper out to short. Diaz gobbles it up. Broxton makes it look easy. 1, 2, 3. The Brewers go quietly in the 8th inning. We go to the 9th, 3-1, St. Louis. And then we hit the All-Star break. Coming up Tuesday, the All-Star game on Fox. Joe Buck and John Smoltz with Tom Verducci and Ken Rosenthal. Make sure you check it out. Lucroy and Diaz will be the lone representatives from these two teams. Brewers will return to action Friday in Cincinnati. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. It'll be Garza, Nelson, and Davies. Zach will return to the big league roster. Miller Lite What's on Tap Friday from Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. 5:30 airtime from the Queen City. Jeremy Jeffress is on the pitch, and he is hoping that the Brewers can score some runs in the bottom of the ninth, give him a chance to win this game. Don't normally see a closer in a game when you're down 2, but last game before the All-Star break, and he'll get an inning.
Yeah, 4 days off. That's why he's in there. He pitched on Friday against the Cardinals, and he was the pitcher of record. Got his 2nd win of the year. Been a tremendous first half for the first-time closer, Jeffress.
Facing Aledmys Diaz to start the inning. Singled and scored in the 5th. Scored from first on a base hit to right center. A little flare single by Piscotty. We'll see Diaz at the All-Star game. He and Lucroy. They will not be traveling together, but they'll be going from here to there.
Well, they might be. Same flight.
Swing and a miss. Diaz strikes out. Jeffress with the good fastball.
Yeah, this is Jeremy Jeffress at his best when he gets that big movement, 2 strikes, throwing out of the zone, and get a swing.
Here's Stephen Piscotty now. How do players get to the All-Star game these days? Private plane?
Well, that's happened before with the Brewers, I believe. That's when the Brewers had 3 guys, 2 or 3 multiple guys on a plane, get into the All-Star game, and
families of those players as well.
Right.
Oh, a nasty slider from Jeffress.
Could be the same situation. Maybe get them down there in comfort. Of course, they could be doing that. San Diego, that's a nice trip.
Sure. It's going to be a great setting there at the All-Star game. Looking forward to that. Petco Park's one of my favorites. You'd like to see that team get it together a little bit and challenge for a division title. Petco Park would be great scenery in the postseason or in a pennant race.
Man, certainly a great city to host an All-Star game.
The Gas Lamp District.
Always nice in San Diego.
What's our place there where we get the fish tacos? What's it called? The
Tin Fish?
The Tin Fish, yeah, right next door. If you're going to San Diego for the All-Star game, you got to go to the Tin Fish. Tell them Rock sent you.
It's a good spot.
You should do a book signing there when we go to San Diego. I'd show up.
Yeah, I bet you would.
I've got one.
I know it's still in your locker here at the ballpark.
Oh,
I
no,
see you haven't taken it home.
Oh, I don't need to. I just, I read it every now and then. I've only read my part, and that didn't take long. Like between innings, 90 seconds.
Okay, you're a fast reader. All those nice things I said about you in that book, and that's what I get.
I may have to go circle back. Is there a digital version of that book anywhere?
No.
That'd be better for me. I like the Kindle, I'm more of a digital. How about an audio book? You could narrate it. I'd like that. You should think about that.
That'd be a lot of work.
You've never been afraid of hard work. Swing and a miss. A strikeout for Jeffress. 2 up, 2 down, 2 Ks.
And both coming on that big fastball from Jeremy. Everything away to Piscotty in that at bat. And finally able to get him on that big fastball.
Johnny Peralta now with 2 away. Yeah, buckled his knees. Sweeping breaking ball by Jeffress. That's the get over variety there. Then he's got the swing and miss breaking ball that he throws.
Yeah, when you throw that hard, there's no way you can go up there and look for a curveball. You have no chance to hit the fastball when you're looking off speed. 95 off the corner.
Shot back up the middle, right. Oh, Jeanette can't make the play. He was there, but he misplays it, and Peralta will reach.
Man, he's been making that play this year. That backhand play was giving him problems when he first got called up a couple of years ago, but the hands have softened up considerably for Scooter Jeanette. Normally is able to make that play and should have. That'll be an error.
So the inning is extended. Peralta is going to be pinch run for. Garcia will run. He started the last 2 games. And so the Cardinals upgrade the speed on the bases. Jeffress now with 2 outs and a runner on, facing Matt Adams. Sellout crowd today, 42,000 plus on Bob Uecker alarm clock day, and they'd love to see a comeback. Most of them would anyway.
Everybody that's not dressed in red.
We've been hearing those alarm clocks go off randomly throughout the game. One ball, one strike. It's been a great half for Jeremy Jeffress. One blown save. Came in May. Among league leaders in saves coming in. He has been very consistent. A shot into right center field. That's going to split the gap, and Garcia rounding third. He is going to head home. Jeanette's throw comes home, and it is late. And Adams drives in a big run for the Cardinals.
Yep, after punching out 3 consecutive times. And Jeffress gives him the fastball down. Adams has had a problem with the fastball up, belt and above today. And the fastball down below the belt, a little easier to get to, particularly for a lefty. You see where it is. Missed his spot, supposed to be away, but it's down, and Adams, watch him just drop the head of the bat on it and hits that one hard into the gap. And the pinch runner able to score from first base.
Now the Jeanette error sets up the RBI double. Unearned run against Jeffress. 4-1 Cardinals, and now it's Grichuk. Right off the end of the bat. That's going to fall for a hit. Adams on his way in. He'll score. Broken bat, RBI single for Grichuk, and it's 5-1. They give good offensive teams like the Cardinals an extra out, and they will make you pay. The best hitting team in the National League with runners in scoring position.
That was a curveball there right off the end of the bat, as you mentioned. And Grichuk, a one-handed home run, this time a one-handed single into center field.
Wong shoots it foul. Now the Cardinals will have the Marlins at home when they return to play Friday. Matheny's club has a lot of improvement in the manager's words, but he's got to be pretty happy with where they are right now. The Cubs have fallen back to the pack. Cubs did beat the Pirates today 6-5. Pirates tied it at 5, and then Chicago able to pull out the victory. Cubs salvage the only game in that series.
Yeah, Cubs no longer have the best record in baseball. That's the Giants. All of a sudden.
So right now in the Central, the Pirates are 7.5 back. Cardinals can leapfrog Pittsburgh back into second place. Wong is out. 2-run score. The error was costly. And now it's 5-1. Brewers coming up for the final time. To the bottom of the ninth we go on a beautiful Sunday in Milwaukee. 5-1 Cardinals. They just added 2. Brewers baseball today on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Greg Garcia will stay in to play third. He entered the game as a pinch runner and scored on the double by Adams. Sungwon Oh, the new closer for the Cardinals, is on. This is not a save situation, but he'll pitch in a 5-1 game. He's got Braun to lead off, then Lucroy.
He's got 2 saves this year. He was the pitcher in the game on Friday when VR got the base hit to win the game. Walk-off victory for Milwaukee.
It was a game in St. Louis last week for the Brewers. They were down 5 runs going into the 9th. Rosenthal started the inning. The Brewers got some traffic on the bases. Matheny brought in O, and Milwaukee actually got within a run. Scored 4 in the 9th. Lost the game 9-8, but Kirk Neuenhuis missed a game-tying grand slam by a couple of feet.
Yes, you do have closer issues with the Cardinals, that's for sure. Oh, not a hard thrower. Good changeup.
No balls, 2 strikes on Braun. Ooh, it just missed. Ryan having a tough day at the plate. Struck out with a runner at third in the first inning. Struck out with a runner at third in the third, and then grounded out his last time up. Don't see Braun give up RBI opportunities that often, especially twice in a game. Very solid first half though for Braun. Back to elite level form at the plate.
No doubt.
.313 hitter, 13 homers, 44 driven in. In the air, right field, hit pretty well, but Piscotty has room. Braun just missed it, and that'll be out number 1.
But Ryan Braun is going to benefit greatly from 4 days off. Going to give that back some time to recuperate, a mental break as well.
His name's been swirling in the trade mill. Trade deadline is July 31st. Not that these guys have anything to do with that and just play the game as is, but it's got to be weighing on them a little bit. You wonder where you're going, if you're going anywhere. Both Lucroy and Braun would love to stay put. Lucroy's been one of the hottest names on the trade rumor circuit all season, even going back into the offseason. There's a lot of teams lining up to try to make a deal for Lucroy, but the price will be extreme.
And not too many catchers in baseball have the numbers that Lucroy has this year.
Lucroy with 2 hits today. Drove in a run in the first. The only run for Milwaukee. He's got his batting average up to .305. 11 home runs, 42 driven in. Into center field. Over is Grichuk, and he's got it for out number 2. I want to give a tip of the hat to our great crew here at Fox Sports Wisconsin. Great first half of Brewers baseball coverage. Our producers Dan Keener and Brent Reeland. Directors Mark Vittorio, Adam Bryant III, and Renardo Lowe. James Stewart, our pre and post game producer, and all of our terrific technicians and camera operators, audio technicians, very talented men and women across the board. We appreciate all the hard work, all the great images and sights, sounds that we get at Miller Park each and every day here.
Yep, right back at it on Friday in Cincinnati.
Not with our home crew, but we'll be back. Playing the Reds.
Brewers have 6 on the road, a 6-game, 7-day road trip. And then back home on the 22nd of July against the Cubs. It's going to be a nice long homestand, actually. 13 games at home in that stretch. I beg your pardon. 10 at home. Cubs, Diamondbacks, and Pirates. July 22nd through July 31st here at Miller Park. Next time we'll see you here. Carter, center field. Grichuk going back in the sun. He's got it, and the game is over. And the Brewers have yet to win a series over the Cardinals this season. The streak is alive. That is now 14 consecutive series without a series loss for St. Louis against Milwaukee. Mike Leake, the winner. Guerra, the loser. Both of his losses have come against the Cardinals this season. 5-1 the final score. We hit the All-Star break. Brewers are 38 and 49. It's time for Brewers Live as we send it to Craig Kashawn. He's standing by. Take it away, Craig.
Okay, BA. The Brewers and Craig Counsell getting ready for the All-Star break, going out with an L. We're going to hear from Craig Counsell, get his thoughts on today's game, also the first half of the season. Rock joins me on the set coming up in just a bit. Brewers Live postgame is next.